I want to drop the ego, but at the same time clinging to it for the pleasure it gives. It is happening partially unconsciously. But recent dramas and events at home have shown to me very clearly the mistakes that happened and made by me was due to the ego I was clinging on to. My question is, does existence give us situations to drop the ego if we are unable to do it ourselves due to lack of maturity or sincerity? I feel that a lot of the quote worldly failures that happened in my past was a way for me to move from ego to egolessness. I want to drop the ego, but at the same time clinging to it for the pleasure it gives.
What pleasure it gives.
Fulfillment of ego.
It's not the pleasure, what pleasure it gives.
Pleasure that is something instead of emptiness.
What do you mean by emptiness?
There's nothing in the realm of the mind.
These are all you have borrowed words and just borrowed knowledge, parrot-like quoting,
But I'm not quoting anybody, Swami.
quoting from everywhere. So it's not that from any particular one person, but why you are assuming that emptiness is a horrible thing? You don't know emptiness, so why you are assuming it? Have you ever known what emptiness is? Then
No, Swami.
why you are assuming?
I think I meant loneliness.
If you are lonely, you will, even if you are surrounded by people, you will still be lonely. Your inner state is that of loneliness. So you can just forget that loneliness for a while. But it remains deep inside. Because you have not known what aloneness is. What was the first sentence you said? You want to drop ego. The one who wants to drop the ego is the ego. So who will drop? Wanting to drop the ego. That wanting will not help. You need to understand what ego is. And you can understand only when you are empty or when you are silent. That ego is creating all the suffering for you. Ego is not a reality, it is just, it's like you are paddling the cycle, so it is moving. Once you stop paddling, the cycle will drop. Either it will drop immediately or it will, if it is going on the slope, then it will for a while move. Ego is your clinging. Ego is something You are carrying the past. It's a dead weight. Because you don't know anything better than the ego, so you think this is the blessed state. Ego is that you are carrying all the time all your achievement, all your ideas, all your beliefs. You think whatever you think about yourself. You are very beautiful, you are very intelligent. But if you carry all these load, you cannot function in the present. You will be overloaded, you will be burdened. And ego also means you are identified with some name, some form. You are identified with your body. But if you are living in the present, then where is the body? The body is remembered only when there is some tension. If there is some strain somewhere, if body is suffering, then only you remember body. If there is a headache, then you know that the head is there. So, when you are carrying the whole past, the dead past, what pleasure it is going to give you? It is lack of understanding. It is, you are not understanding, you are yourself creating your own bondage, your own prison by clinging to ego. Otherwise, if you have achieved something, if you are intelligent, just by all the time remembering it, even if you forget, it is not going to go anywhere. If your face is very proportionate, if you are not infatuated to it, it will not go anywhere. It will be there still. If you have a very intelligent, sharp brain, even if you don't remember, it will remain. So what is the need to always carry things which are not needed? But this has become just a habit, a very idiotic and stupid habit, unnecessary. If someone has to travel or to climb to a mountain, one has to carry less and less weight. The higher the mountain, the less weight you can carry. So the more you are identified with the ego, it shows that you are unconscious. The less conscious you will be. So if you want to remain, it shows that you are living a very gross life. So if you are so identified with pebbles and sand and brick, then you will miss the diamond, you will miss the gold. So if you want to carry gold and diamond and rubies in your hand, you have to throw away the pebbles, the stones. You can live with the ego, but it is creating limitation in your life. It is a self-created hell. It is carrying the past, it is carrying the dead weight. What is intelligence in this? Now read more.
It is happening partially unconsciously.
It is like saying that I am partially alive. Either you are alive or you are not alive. It is like saying that I am partially a man. Then you are a eunuch. So and it cannot happen unconsciously. The more you will see the bondage, the limitation created by the ego, the fetters, the chain it creates for you, the quicker you will be free from it. Then you will not, you are holding on to it. No one is holding. It is your unconscious habit. Now it has become an addiction. You have become bound to repeat this pattern again and again because of being unconscious. So the more you observe it, even if people are praising you, what you are gaining? You will remain the same. If someone says you are the most beautiful woman in the world and you are very ugly, is it going to change the reality? And if you are beautiful, whether anyone says or not, makes no difference. You can see your face in the mirror and you will know exactly what you are if you are not assuming anything. If you are not imagining, you will be able to see it. Even if you have a very beautiful face, it's just it's like some flowers are very beautiful. So what is the need that the flower has to become very egoistic about it? No flowers are becoming egoistic because they are not trained in universities and schools and colleges. Even if the rose is very beautiful, it has no ego of it because it serves no interest for it. No other flowers are praising it. So it is because we have been in childhood conditioned in that way. When parents want you to behave according to them, then they will praise you. So we have become addicted to that praise. But you are a grown-up person. Now you should see it. You may have liked it when you were a child. But now it is time. If you cannot get out of this conditioning and program, get out of this prison, then you will never be able to get out. And no one is stopping you. You are yourself an obstacle. You are the only obstacle. If you want to get rid of ego, you don't need anyone's help. You just have to see it, that it is your self-created prison. It is you have created your own jail, which is in reality giving you nothing. You are just assuming, you are just believing that it is giving you something. It is giving you pleasure. It is not giving you pleasure. It is giving you all the pain. It is your very hell. But your intelligence is so low. I am not saying only you. Intelligence of everyone is about this is so low. If you want to call it, you can call it spiritual intelligence. It is so low. And nowhere in any school and colleges we are taught to develop that intelligence. How to be disidentified with your body-mind mechanism. How to be disidentified with your name and form. If you are not disidentified, then you are cutting your own wings. Then your prison is not created by others. You have yourself willingly entered into that prison. Once you want to get out of it, No one is stopping you. So the more unconscious you are, the more ego will have a stranglehold over you. The more you will be in its grip. And you cannot get out of it partially. It is not that when the light is brought in a dark room, the darkness disappears partially. Immediately when the light is there, the darkness is gone. You are identified with the ego. Once you stop identifying, it cannot have any strength over you. Because it has no existence. When you see inside, when you are silent and you close your eyes and look, you go in and you try to find out, you will not find any ego. You feel the ego only when you are identified with the form or name, identified with your achievement. Once you are not identified with your body-mind mechanism, there is no ego. When you are going deep into your consciousness, you will just know that there is only awareness. There is nothing else there, only awareness is there. This awareness is when it is not identified with anything. When the consciousness is just pure consciousness. Then where is the ego? Read.
But recent dramas and events at home have shown to me very clearly the mistakes that happened and made by me was due to the ego I was clinging onto.
What is the first part?
But the recent dramas and events at home.
What more?
Have shown to me very clearly the mistakes that happened and made by me.
These may be also ego's trick. You have seen very clearly. What do you mean by seeing very clearly? If you have seen very clearly, then you have finished with it. But if it comes back, then it is just the tiffin time. It is just a break for a while. These things, ego is very clever in these things. It has seen very clearly. Then again it comes back. So one has to be very alert not to conclude so quickly. If you believe in those people who have gone deep inside, they know that in your impersonal journey of consciousness, you have lived all the time in an unconscious way. So ego it may be a non-existential thing, but ego has been your life in all your past lives. So it won't leave you so quickly. Only when you are total about it, that this is your only desire. Your will is just one pointed, that I want, before trying to know anything else, first thing is that I have to know myself. Because when you are ignorant about yourself, you cannot know anything else. You are the closest to yourself. You may know things, it's possible that you can go very deep into matter, you can become a great scientist. But they are also as ignorant about themselves as you are. Maybe they are a little better. So what was the sentence you used? What you said?
The mistakes that happened and made by me was due to the ego I was clinging onto.
You are separating yourself from the ego. I was clinging to the ego. You and ego are same. Until and unless you see that you are the ego, the one who is claiming all big things, that it was very clear to me. It is all ego which is thinking it is very clear to it. Once you are free from the ego, then there is nothing to say. Nothing to say, nothing to speak, nothing to understand. So what is clear? If it was clear, then the game was over. What was the second part? It was very clear to you then?
Clear that the mistakes that happened and made by me was due to the ego I was clinging onto.
Who is clinging to what? There is only one. It is the ego. You were clinging to the ego. Now this is the trick of the ego, trick of the mind. You were clinging to the ego. If there is no ego, there is no you. If there is no ego, there is no I. So who is clinging to whom? Then there is a form, there is a mind, there is a body, there is a brain. But they are just there, silent. Who is clinging to whom? You have to disappear totally. But everything will be same even if there is no ego. Only the thorn is gone. But you want to keep that thorn. You are calling that thorn you or I. That you or I is the thorn. You are clinging to that you and the I. That is the ego. There is no difference between you and the ego. You are the ego. You are the disease. That is the whole jwa. Otherwise, what you will declare? That is your pleasure. That I am a great lecturer. I am very intelligent. I am wiser than others. You don't want to get rid of it. You don't want to get rid of that pleasure. So ego will always be there if you want to show something to the world. If you want to claim something, if you want to be rewarded and awarded and get positions, get recognition, get respected by others, loved by others, praised by others, then the ego will always be there. This is like what Ramakrishna, someone came to Ramakrishna Paramahans and he was a very rich man. He said that I want to search for truth, for moksha. So I am giving you all my wealth. So he brought lot of gold and silver coins in a big bag. So Ramakrishna said that, okay, I have accepted it. Now you go and throw it in the river. He became very disappointed. He thought Ramakrishna will praise him that you have brought such a valuable thing to me. I am very grateful to you that you have removed my poverty, but he has not given any chance for his ego to become brightened, to become enlightened. Instead, he said that you go and throw the whole. So he went and he was very unwilling, but because Ramakrishna has said that it is now mine. So I have told you to throw it, so now you follow my order. So he will just first put two of the coin together, then he will make sound of it and then throw one by one. So it became like 2-3 hours had passed. Ramakrishna said that, what has he? He has not yet returned. He sent someone, you just see what has happened to that man. So the man, when he went, he saw that the big crowd had gathered there, and he was one by one throwing. First he will, what do you call it? He will he will knock the two coins together, hear the sound, and then throw one by one. So big crowd had gathered there. He was making a big show of that also. Even that was ego fulfilling. He was trying to show to the crowd, see how rich I am, and I am throwing all this. But if he had thrown everything together, then that would not have given him any much pleasure. One by one, so he had just gathered such a big crowd there, and he became the center of the attention for the whole crowd. So the man reported to Ramakrishna that a big crowd has gathered there and he is throwing it one by one. So Ramakrishna sent him again. He said that Ramakrishna is saying that when you earn something, then you gather it slowly. But when you have to throw it all together. What is the need to throw one by one? Just throw it and forget it. So what you are saying is like that. Partially you are just getting free from it. Slowly. Now these are all tricks of the mind. You want to cling to it. You want to keep it. Just forget it. But we want to become great sadhak. We want to become great tapasvi. We want to show to the whole world how great a sadhak we are. So you have to devote hundreds of years, 50 years, 20 years for it. Then you will be free from the ego. That means you don't want to be free from the ego. That's why so much sadhana is needed. Otherwise, what is there to do? Just throw it away. If you are believing that you are a man and you realize you are not a man, then you need to do any sadhana, just be finished with it. This gradually, slowly, partially, these are all tricks of the mind. That means you don't want to be free from it. It is just a clever and cunning device of the mind. What more?
My question is, does existence gives us situations to drop the ego if we are unable to do it ourselves due to lack of maturity or sincerity?
Read the first part first again.
My question is, does existence gives us situations to drop the ego?
I don't know existence gives you situation or not. But it depends on the person. Situations are always there. If you are intelligent, you can use it, all the situation for your growth. If you are unintelligent, for those who are not interested in dropping their ego, they are not suffering. They think ego is their ornament. So for them, there is no situation. when you start suffering, the wounds given to you by the ego, and you suffer again and again, then you become frustrated with it. You want to be free from it. So if because of the situation outside, if because of other people you are suffering, that means ego is the one who is suffering. Because of the ego you are suffering. So drop it. But if you even drop the ego, that doesn't mean that if you have a cancer, it will disappear. You will be free from your psychological pain, but not your physical pain. Maybe even your physical pain will be, not maybe, it will be less. Because much of your pain, even your physical pain, becomes big, very big because of your ego. Because ego is a expert in creating imaginary stories, nightmares. Ego is the director, producer, actor, script, everything is ego. And you can create a film where you are suffering a lot. But it is all your own creation. Even if you have no ego, then also, because people are unconscious, they create situation for you to suffer. Then you have created your own suffering, your own portable instrument for suffering, the ego. You carry it everywhere, all the time. What was the second part?
If we are existence given situation to drop the ego, if we are unable to do it ourselves due to lack of maturity or sincerity.
No. Read the whole thing.
My question is, does existence gives us situations to drop the ego if we are unable to do it ourselves due to lack of maturity or sincerity?
Now again the same thing is you are writing. If we are unable to drop it ourselves, who is the one who will drop? That is the ego. So once you are able to see things as it is, once your mirror is clean, you will find there is no ego. So there is nothing to drop, nothing to cling. You are clinging on your own because of your fear, because of your greed. So you need to become sincere, you need to become mature. And that is the maturity. When you are able to see things as it is, you are not assuming anything. You are not projecting anything. You are not imagining anything. You are not imagining things which are non-existential, which are not there. You are just seeing things as it is. If you are rotten, you just see you are rotten. If your mother is rotten, if there is no love in them, if your brother is murderous, if he has no love in him, then don't go on assuming, then don't go on projecting things which are not there. Just see things as it is. If your mind is full of shit, just see it. Why you want to decorate it? Why you want to decorate your shit and put it in the temple? Throw it in your toilet and flush it. So This is maturity. This is sincerity when you are not assuming anything. When you are not imagining anything, you are seeing things as it is. When you are able to see things as it is, then you will be mature, you will become mature. So why you want not to be mature, not to be sincere, and you want existence to help? This is being a beggar. Why you want to be a beggar? Even if it is something is gifted to you, and if you don't deserve it, you will lose it. You can have only that which you deserve. You can have only that which you have earned, for which you are matured enough. So sincerity is very much needed. If you are not sincere, how you will change? How there can be any transformation? If you are not sincere, then don't desire any change. Just be in bondage. Just be. The only thing that is needed is sincerity, is honesty, is authenticity, and you don't even want to have that. We are just wearing so many masks. We have become so unauthentic and dishonest. That's why we are not able to see things which are very obvious. Why we are seeking that others should recognize us, the others should praise us. For what? If you are silent and you are happy, what is the need that anyone else should give you certificate? You know that you are happy. What is needed? There is a difference in what is your need and what is your greed. You need food, you need fresh air, you need pure water, you need greenery, you need unpolluted air. These things are needed. But if you are greedy that you need hundreds of Rolls Royces, or you need a big city in your name, or you need to have a house in the moon, these are just unnecessary things, not needed at all. Your need has to be taken care, but the greed of not even a single person can be fulfilled. Is everything over? That's all.
One more sentence.
What?
I feel that a lot of the worldly failures that happened in my past was a way for me to move from ego to egolessness.
Now, these are all just mental games. You're playing your mental game. You're playing chess from both the sides. It is all ego is trying to satisfy itself. What was the sentence?
I feel that a lot of the worldly failures that happened in my past was...
Oh, okay.
Now, what is worldly failure? Why can't you say failure? Failure, what is worldly and otherworldly? There is nothing otherworldly. Everything is in this world. So using big words may confuse you more. You are trying to say like it is a saying in Hindi, Angur khatte, that means the grape is sour because you are not able to reach to it. So you are saying it's sour, so I am not trying to get it. So it is a logic of the fox. That's why I am not climbing to it, because it is sour. So failure or success, what difference it makes? Even if you are succeeding, if you are intelligent, you will realize ego is your suffering. That's why Osho says that nothing fails like success. Even if you are getting success all the time, one day you will, if you are intelligent, you will realize things are gathering around you. You have all the comfortable things around you, but your ego is inside you. That is your dark night. That is your thorn. Even if you have everything, it doesn't mean you will become silent. You will become very loving. You will become enlightened. You will become very conscious. So those people who are not able to become successful, they think that they will become enlightened. It's all bullshit. Whether you are successful or failure, you have to see that the real problem is inside you. You have not to change the world. First you have to change yourself. Because you cannot change the world. But if you are sick inside, psychologically, if you are spiritually, if you are sick, then having success in the outside world, how it will help? So this is the logic of a stupid person. That because I am always failing in the outside world, so I am getting rid of the ego. I am moving from ego to egolessness. It's all just rubbish. You are not moving anywhere. You are not looking inside. You are still looking outside. That you are all the time failing. How long you want to be successful in the outside world? And what more success you want? You are a lecturer. At the most, you can become head of the department. So, all your inner suffering will disappear. You will remain the same person. Otherwise, no celebrity will commit suicide. No celebrity will be found in ditches after drinking too much. But these people are more in suffering. They are in a worse state than even the beggars, as far as their head is concerned. Their head is full of havoc. Their head is full of demons. These people are creating more problems. They are creating the problem. Most of the problems that the world is facing today is created by these so-called successful people. What kind of dream you are seeing? That if you had become successful in everything, then you would not have to face the ego. Whether you are successful or a failure, the ego is your darkness, your inner darkness. You are carrying the past which is dead. If your mind is full of this kind of bullshit, you will never be free. You are not moving anywhere. There is nowhere to move. Just seeing thing is enough. There is no sadhana is needed. If you have seen things as it is, that you have created your own prison. You are responsible for your own misery. Because you are clinging to past. Because you want to become somebody. You want to show to the world that you are somebody. Why can't you just remain silent? Contented in yourself. If you are suffering from inferiority complex, then you want to prove something to the world. Otherwise, if you are happy in creating whatever you can create, what is the need, whether you are recognized or not? This desire to be recognized is the desire of the ego.
Yes, Swami.
You are not taking it well because you want to hear lullabies, you want to hear good things, sweet things. that I should say you are moving from ego to egolessness. You are not moving anywhere. There is nothing, nowhere to move. Just seeing things clearly, which you are claiming you are able to see things clearly. Then you are free from your own self-created prison.
Yes, Swami, I'm taking it very well, Swami. I'm not resisting anything.
You may not be resisting, but you are not even taking, because otherwise why always the same thing comes back again and again?
No, this one is I ask the question, then after you answer, I have understood, Swami.
Even if you are doing lot of sadhana, that is who is doing it. It is the ego. That means you don't want to get rid of your bondage. You just want to continue that bondage in the name of sadhana. If you are fed up of it, if you are frustrated with it, then be free just now and help other people. Once you are free, help other people to be free. Those who want to be free. Not that you have to find your own relatives and your own family members. Just you share things. If someone is ready to take, the person will take. Otherwise, you have done your part. So it's clear?
Yes, Swami. Clear, Swami. Very clear, Swami.
Again, very clear. But again, these things will come back.
Perhaps not this time, Swami.
You listen to these things again and again.
Okay.